sit silent while lawsuits run their course and clickbait farming, engagement hacking, grifters continue their campaign to hijack the truth for profit. Enough is enough. From the courts of law to the court of public opinion, we will combat the lies and misinformation with the truth. Sig Sauer stands behind the quality, safety, and design of all of our products, especially the 320. Industry, take notice. What is happening today to Sig Sauer with the anti-gun mob and their lawfare tactics will happen tomorrow at another firearms manufacturer and then another. Today, for Sig Sauer, it ends. Guess what, guys? It still hasn't ended. For those of you who don't know what it is I'm talking about, that was a statement made by Sig some months ago about how everybody's dogpiling on them and making up stories about them and all that sort of stuff, and their stuff is fine, right? It was rather unhinged, and it pointed a lot of fingers at a lot of folks that didn't really deserve to have fingers pointed at them. You know who does deserve to have fingers pointed at them? Sig Sauer, because we have yet another incident to talk about today, as we hear a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by First Form. This is a pro-freedom supplement and nutrition company, and when I think of their products for you, I think of adding value to your life, and there is one product of theirs that I use more frequently than anything else that they make, and that is their meat sticks. They have these in an approximately a 20 gram of protein stick. Think smoked meat. Doesn't need to be refrigerated. Eat it on the go when you get hungry. This channel is sponsored by them. I'm literally doing an ad for them right now, and I purchased these. So what I suggest you do is go down in the pinned comment, use the link that I have listed there. That is an affiliate link. It generates sales for the channel, and let them know that I sent you. Special thanks to First Form for making today's video possible. Gun industry drama. You gotta love it. We're back with Sig Sauer today. And actually, as a sort of a funny note, my instinct to start this project up in Premiere Pro was to call it Sig Fail. Well, when I went to start that project, turns out I already called a project that. So I went to Sig Fail 2. Already got a project called Sig Fail 2. Sig Fail 3. Yep. So we're going to start a new convention today. It is going to be Sig Fail and then 4 numerical date code, because that's the only way that we're going to get this done. Now, for your viewing pleasure and to catch you all up to speed, I have 2 recent videos that we made specifically about what Sig's been doing. And I'll have both those videos listed in all the relevant places for you to go run down. They're basically just a synopsis of what they've said and the evidence that is freely available out there for anybody to go find however you want to do it, right? But I have 2 videos in recent months summarizing that information for you guys to look at. But today, what we're going to be using as reference material is this article from Bearing Arms. The article is composed by Tom Knighton and was published 2 days ago as of the filming of this video. I'm not going to steal his thunder. I'll have his article listed in the relevant places for you to go read the full synopsis, but I'll have a quick screenshot on basically the facts, and I'm just going to paraphrase through this. I'm not going to read it word for word, because I am confident that regardless of how much trouble you might have, you are literate enough to be able to read the entire article. So, to give you a gist of what's going on, we're going to watch a video here in just a minute. If you want to see the original video, you can, of course, find it on the Bearing Arms article as well. But to set the stage, school resource officer at about 1 p.m. in the afternoon doing protective detail for summer school type thing. They're getting ready to leave the premises. They're headed to their vehicle. They've got a backpack, it looks like, and there is a vehicle that they're headed towards. They're carrying some stuff in their hands, but also they are armed with their issued P320 in an approved holster. So officer here on the right, bystander here on the left. And I want you to pay close attention to the bystander walking here on the left, because there's no sound in this video. He's going to be our cue. And you can see that he jumps a little bit. And what has happened here, apparently, is even though it's an approved holster, carrying on the hip, due to carry, somewhere in the interaction with the other stuff in the hands, something happens to that weapon and it discharges. Now, thankfully, the injuries were relatively minor as a gunshot wound can be. It sounds as though there was a non-life-threatening injury to the officer's leg, and then they were treated at the local hospital for it. Now, I want to talk a little bit about why this is dangerous in addition to what we already know about, gunshots and stuff like that. It's not good for you. It's bad for your health to get shot, right? Whether it's by somebody else or your own weapon in your own holster. What are schools' floors usually made out of? If you said concrete or stone, then I would say the vast majority of them are that. You might also consider a school resource officer might be standing on blacktop. Same difference, right? When we're talking about a handgun round hitting a hard surface like that, it can be pretty dangerous for those around the unintended discharger. Because unlike rifle bullets, they're going like 3,200 feet per second, 3,000 feet per second. Those rounds have so much kinetic energy that when they hit that hard surface, they basically disintegrate. A 9mm or 40 caliber round is only going in the best scenarios about half of that or less. And that means that if there's any kind of angle to that besides straight down, then that bullet has a tendency to flatten and then skip along the surface. So you could think of like your pistol's going to be in your holster. It won't be usually perfectly vertical. It'll usually be kind of like this or like this, right? And the problem with this is that when the thing discharges, it might hit you in the shin, thigh, or foot. The problem with this, depending on this officer, looks like they're relatively fit, but if it's like this, well, then that bullet can skip and potentially injure bystanders. Now, that's particularly heinous because this is a school. Luckily, they were outside going to their vehicle, and this was also during summer school, so the population of students that are participating in summer school activities is probably relatively low, right? So, I mean, the exposure there is somewhat muted because of that, but still doesn't change the fact that we've got a weapon in an approved holster that wasn't being actively fiddled with or anything like that. It appears, at least to my eyes, you guys can tell me, right? Like maybe the bag hit the weapon on the way down when it either came off of the shoulder or slipped off the shoulder. Doesn't really matter. Weapon was in the holster. The department says that this is being investigated as an uncommanded discharge due to all the relevant facts. And this will, of course, be sent to the Department of Justice for the relevant state. That's pretty standard operating procedure. This is in Saris, California, which raises something interesting. First of all, California Department of Justice is probably not going to be very good for SIG. That's a discussion for another day as we find more information. Thing that I find instantaneously interesting is California, we know, is not great when it comes to gun culture. I mean, the freedom side of things, but also when it comes to the cultural aspects of maintaining weapons and making sure that they're updated in good working order and all that sort of stuff, right? California, just not great. And then on top of it, law enforcement, also not great when it comes to gun culture. My immediate question is, how old is that 320? I'm not trying to give SIG any kind of like avenues out or anything like that, although I will expose my biases to say that I own tens of thousands of dollars in SIG products. Now, all of those are proper SIG firearms, not the, in my opinion, abomination that is the Sig P320. But what I'm saying is, or asking the question is this an old vintage Sig 320 that was given to a school resource officer? Is it a new production weapon? Is it an old production weapon that has the retrofits? Where does it fit in the spectrum? Because if this is like a first run gun that the douchebags out in California didn't properly manage, Sig has all but admitted that they were willing to fix guns right at the beginning. Like they issued a recall and replacement thing right at on the onset of any issues, right? They've since quote unquote fixed the problem, shall we say. You know, I don't think that I did that properly with the air quotes. We're going to use the wrists to make sure that we get fixed the guns. All I'm saying is that at this point in time, this is what happened. And we will be watching this for future information. I want to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. That's what I've got for you today. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we'll see another video here at the VSO Gun Channel. What say you? Is this a Californianism, or do you think that this is a new gun and there's a persistent problem? I don't know. We'll have to find out.